Today we're gonna look at the horror games that are actually scary. Now, if you didn't know, today we had a big horror game day on my Twitch, on twitch.tv/Adley. And honestly, the YouTuber we're about to look at actually came by the chat today and said hi and hung out and yapped a little bit. What a great time. We're going to look at Zeark's new video, horror games that are actually scary. We just did a couple horror games. It was a pretty good time. And I thought the best way to end the day is by looking at this little thingy over here to get maybe some future recommendation that we might do on my stream. But if you're looking this on YouTube, make sure you like this video to help the algorithm god, spread it around, and also sub to the channel if you enjoy these kind of reacts. Now let's get into it. I'm pretty hyped.
Hello everybody, and
Hello.
welcome back to a brand new video.
Hello.
So today, once again, we're going to be looking at horror games that are actually scary. Now I've gotten some questions. Zeark, why do you only upload once a week? Well, let me explain it really fast to you. In order to find new horror games, I have to play said horror games. And I'm not even joking when I tell you guys this. I have played over 15 different horror games this week and whittled it down to just 3. Actually, I think there's 4 in this video. I had to whittle it down to 4. The rest...
He played 15 horror games every day. What? Damn! Man's gaming. We got no shit on him, man. We did 2 in 3.5 hours. How the hell?
The rest of them were not scary. I sat there, played 15 different...
I bet a lot of them were cheesy jump scares and stuff like that, and it's just not really feeling scary at all. Like, that's what I worry about a lot of horror games, is that whenever I see them, most of the time I worry that they're kind of just boring because they do like cheap stuff, or they might be annoying because you have like super based out volume that is just annoying in the end. Dude, he gaming.
Different games, beat
wasting no time at all,
and only 4 of them were scary. So if you're wondering why these videos take a while to make, that is why.
He puts a lot of work into that, and plus he has to edit it. It takes a lot of work.
So enough wasting your time. Let's
Once
get
a
into
week is really huge, though.
Horror game in this video. The word horror is really hard to say. Horror. Let's get into the first horror game in this video. The first game was the Mortuary.
We just played this. We literally just played this.
I don't know if I'm saying that wrong. It's still a puzzle in my brain. So guys, we're gonna be playing.
Hi, Angel. Yo, is this the chat?
I actually streamed this one on my YouTube channel. If you missed it, I'm sorry. I don't stream very often, but when I do, it's usually like 2 hours long.
Pretty good.
I have like a month break where
this is a fucking let's play with us.
YouTube videos is like my bread and butter. Streaming is like foreign to me, but it's still really fun. I love interacting with you guys, and streaming this was so much fun. Now, when I talk about these games, I gotta go talk about if I suggest them, my pros and cons, but most importantly, if they are scary. So obviously from the title, yes, I think this game is really scary.
I think this game was scary. I'm gonna be real. There was not many moments I thought was scary, but there was one moment when that fucking guy just randomly appeared and staring at me for a while. I didn't realize it until I saw it and he started dipping. When I saw it, he dipped. That moment gave me goosebumps. It's the first time in any horror game I got goosebumps. This game leaned me into it. Really good game.
On stream, I was playing it. The intro was a little bit long-winded. I was getting kind of sick of it. The embalmment process, which is crazy.
Angel, this guy was in chat
taking
today.
Forever.
This YouTuber.
Use forceps to clamp tubing to both veins and connect to embalm.
Holy.
Jesus Christ! I thought
this a lot of work.
Was just like a chill, I thought it was just like a chill game.
Why is this game so bright?
I'm literally doing.
Bro, my game was not this bright. This shit was pitch dark. This corner here, on my view, this was pitch dark. Did he put it on max brightness? I think he put this on max brightness. That was a tutorial. Oh, is this the tutorial? Ah,
with a dead body.
Because daytime.
But it is the general consensus and the gameplay loop of the game itself. So it is really important that you understand it, but it is a little bit tedious, and I couldn't see shit. Y'all saw better than me. The parts that scared me the most about this game were the things that you don't hear and you don't see right away.
Exactly. That's the thing. There was like a weird alien creepy dude staring at me for ages, and I was like dealing with something, and I didn't realize he was like looking at me.
There's this little white golem dude who just hangs around and just scares the shit out of me every single time. Don't use it anymore, and I'm so thankful that
there he is. That's the guy. That's the guy.
Playing this game. Oh my fucking god. This motherfucker keeps popping out and scaring the shit out of me. That is not cool. That is scary. That is scary. He's in every nook and cranny. He's in every corner. He pops up. There were numerous times on stream where he just scared me to my jimmies. Do I apply moisturizer now? Or do I, like, what do I do with his body? Do I burn it? I burn it. I burn it, right?
No.
I burn his body?
You see that? You see that fucker right there? Like, look. Look. Wait. It gets you. It does get you.
I burn his body?
No, thank you.
Hello, scary mask tomboy.
He's kind of scared.
Apply moisturizer.
Hey.
You
Bye.
That shit's gonna keep me up at night. What the
It
fuck
is.
is that? Oh my. Compared to the rest of the games that I played, this game seemed to have more ambition. There were cutscenes. Basically, every game that I played
hard to get,
this week didn't really have cutscenes beside the last one I'm going to be covering. That one had cutscenes in it. Although the cutscenes are not good, they're there. And that just made me feel more attached to the story and get involved with the characters, and it raised the stakes a little bit. The atmosphere of this game is absolutely insane. You're basically like embalming bodies and looking for demons. That's how this game is. And you're working with like dead people, and your character gets really close up in their face, and it's just so unnerving the whole time.
I think this is a
really cool idea. So overall, the pros of the game is that the atmosphere is great. The scares are absolutely top tier.
Oh, not this now. Nah. I left that room.
Guys.
Leave. Go to the left. Go to the left.
Am I even kidding?
Just
that
leave.
scared me so bad that it made my fucking eyes water. Overall, just the thought of the game and the story itself is pretty interesting. Yes, super unrealistic, but you just gotta let your expectations fly out the window with shit like this. And most importantly, it is scary. The cons of the game is exposition dumping. Your boss that you're working for this internship at this place, he essentially sends you into work at like midnight, and he's like, yo, I gotta be straight up with you. There's demons and you gotta exercise them, and if you don't, you're dead, and I'm putting this all on you. And the game is telling you to embalm this body and like mix all these chemicals. And while you're doing that, he's talking over this speaker or this, I forget. And he's giving you all the instructions that you got to pick up this piece of paper. You got to wave it around in the air. If it
I
sets
don't
on
get
fire,
it. If this guy is such a professional, why don't he do it?
Demons follow it. If you follow it, turn him into a turtle. It was crazy. I had no idea what I was doing. I think the game should have been way more clear when it comes to exactly what you're supposed to do in the game, because I did find it confusing. Blame it on me for being stupid. I was very confused. I was basically asking my chat the whole entire time.
I didn't know this was timed. I feel like the information that this was timed should have been said. I didn't know this at all, because I thought we were rolling. We did really well. We figured out which demon it was. Now it was to figure out which body it was. And then we kind of got sent to like hell or something. Had to run away from her. And we passed out and lost. Like, I think that we should have, if I knew this was time, we would win. We would win.
What am I supposed to do now? But you know, that could be a plus. I'm not necessarily saying it's a negative. For me it is, but to you it could be a positive. The game does have depth. But overall, yeah, I say that you give this game a try if you enjoyed it.
Really fun. Good experience.
And without further ado, let's move on to the next game. I need to mix my transition words. I've just been saying the same things. It's either without further ado and with that being said. I say those over and over. Leave some comments for some new transitions. All right, let's go. Let's move on. That was a new one.
I've never heard of this one.
I'm not necessarily sure how to categorize these because they are very similar and to me are all equally scary. When I heard that the Fears of Fathom games were being made,
everybody. Have a good one, Yumichi. Enjoy your day.
The premise of all of these games are that they are true stories that were sent in by people who will have these stories and you play through them in the game. Personally, I've played Fears to Fathom 1 to 3 and I recommend playing every single one, but we're going to be covering Carson House in this video. The game is essentially a house sitting simulator. You're sent to do this job, you're playing as a teenager, and he's going to house sit for his dad's friend, who is a real estate agent, like this big, rich dude. Big, rich dude? Why'd I say? He's a rich dude, and he's a big deal. That's what I meant to say. You're basically house sitting, and you're doing these chores, like feeding the dog, going out for groceries, and then things start to get weird. This game is very short, basically all the Fears to Fathom games
Oh,
are
we
really
should play
short,
this then.
which to me is a pro. I enjoy playing these short episodic games because they keep me so engaged throughout the whole entire thing, and I don't feel a need to take a break. I feel like as you go further into these games, they definitely start to get a little bit more ambitious. The first one being the lightest of all, but in my opinion, probably the best. I am a sucker for home invasion ever since I was a child, terrified of home invasions. I still even have nightmares now where someone breaks into my house or is trying to break in, and it is the scariest dreams that I have currently. Next,
you know what? That's the reason why I don't want to have a house, because I think that sounds terrifying.
Video ranking my nightmares. I'm definitely not going to do that. It's kind of a cool idea though. So let us go over the pros of this game, and then we will get into the cons. Like
good bite-sized game. Ooh.
I think the story of this game is very engaging. You basically find out the story as you're playing the game. Wow, that's crazy. I don't know why I said that. Obviously, it's how it works. But the way this is being told is that things are being slowly unraveled to you throughout the time that you're in the house. And fast forward, if you want to play this might spoil. I'm not entirely sure. But the game basically gives you what you think is happening and completely reverses. It's not what's actually happening, and it flips it on its head. And as I'm playing and I'm thinking through my head, this is a real story. This actually happened. Yeah, I don't know if it's 100% true, but the things I've been reading on Reddit are that yes, it is true, and they are proven to be true stories. I don't know how much the game drums it up. I guess it depends on how the person is playing it, so it's kind of subjective. I thought the story was very engaging.
But they are very scary when you remember it's for people's real lives. I think that is a factor in that really pushes it. Whenever you know a situation like this has happened in real life, this is a true story, I think that can really get to you. Because whenever you play a horror game, you know it's fake, it doesn't really scare you. But whenever you see something that's true, I don't know.
This game that I really enjoyed was the sound design. There are things going on in the background all the time, and if you pay attention, you'll start to figure things out before things like start hitting the fan. Shit starts hitting the fan. You'll realize like 10 minutes before if you just listen to the game. Also, another plus, I fucking love when games do this. It uses your microphone. There's a certain part of the game where you're hiding and it pops a microphone thing over on the right side of the screen. And if you get too loud or you start making some noise, or maybe you're a mouth breather right into your microphone, then she's gonna hear you. The first and third Fears to Fathom are just essentially home invasion simulations. Wait, that sounded sick. And overall, they are 100% worth playing through. I seriously suggest it, but let's get into the cons real quick. The one con I have is that if you do die in this game, the checkpoint system is kind of shit. It doesn't start you exactly where you died at, which, I mean, I'm not super complaining about, but it's the fact that the checkpoint before you die is so far apart from where you died in a particular part in this game. And it kind of ruins the feeling of experimentation to figure out what you're supposed to do, because you die and you're like, oh my God, I have to go through like 10 more minutes of this just reading text and running up and down the stairs to do these tedious tasks. So yeah, the checkpoint system I wasn't a huge fan of. There was also a point where I essentially soft locked myself in the game because I don't really know if this is my fault. I was looking it up on Reddit and it looks like other people had this problem as well. There's a part where you have to grab the bike and go to the store, and when he does that, he drops his flashlight to pick up the bike, and when that happens, it basically despawns the flashlight sometimes. My first playthrough, my flashlight completely disappeared and I was just roaming around in the dark bumping into shit, and I was like, okay, how do I get this flashlight back? And then people were basically just saying restart the whole game, and it sucked. It sucked to restart, I'll admit. But those are the only cons I have. I feel like the game is too short and it doesn't have enough content for me to really find something to dig into. I think it is a game that you just will enjoy playing because it's so short, and it is a great time. Overall, all these games are really horrifying. You've probably seen a lot of YouTubers play them because they are very famous. And that's another thing with this game. I feel like you don't even need to play them. You can watch walkthroughs and it'll give you essentially the same exact feeling. It's like watching a horror movie. But yeah, overall, love this game. Love the whole entire franchise, and the developer I think is doing an awesome thing with horror games, and I wish him luck in his endeavors with making the rest of these games. Now that spooky segment is over, let's move on to the next one. Okay, this transition, finding new transition words is not working. Let's just go back. With that being said, let's move on to the next game.
Wait, that looks like a really cool game though. We should play that for sure. We got to play that.
Now this next game is a little bit of a curveball. So after about 14, 13 of these games that I was playing, and I was sick of it, I said, give me something like PT. So I looked up specifically what is like PT.
Man, I so wish PT was finished. I wish they made PT. I always hoped that Kojima would come out one day and say, we have decided to, Del Toro and I have decided we're going to work on this game again. and we're gonna make the game that it was meant to be and just have it out. But this, it's not yet happened, dude. I wish PT became real.
I looked through a bunch of these, tons of them, and then something caught my eye. There was this game called Ludo, and right now it only has a demo on Steam, and this one is free. So if you guys want to go play it, you can. It's free on Steam. It is a pretty girthy, oh, I did not mean to use that. It is a pretty thick demo. That word wasn't even good either. Now, before I fully get into this one, I just want to let you know that this demo came out in like 2022, and apparently it's been crickets from the developers on this game.
Oh,
so
no.
Who knows what's happening? Actually, as I'm recording this, literally, I just read this on April 7th, the developers did say something. They said Ludo is still in development, so it looks like this game will be coming out.
Oh, cool.
But they did say we cannot give details yet and the release date and other aspects of the game, so please bear with us. They were a very small team. So yeah, if you played the demo and you loved it, it's going to come out eventually, hopefully. Hopefully it'll come out. Don't mark my words. I don't know if it is or not, but they're saying that it will. So Ludo is like a haunted house schizophrenia simulator. That is a horrible combination, but it works. It's one of those artsy, puzzly kind of games that you have no idea what the story is unless you look it up online. It's just a haunted house walking simulator with atmosphere that you could, I'm going to say it, cringy or not, you could cut the atmosphere with a knife. That shit was so thick. You know a game is good when you're trying to solve a puzzle and then out of nowhere in the background you hear like wood creaking like someone's walking towards you and you have to spam the escape key to turn around to see if anyone's behind you. That's the type of shit I love. Give me that. This game is very PT-esque, so if you're a fan of PT, you're most likely going to enjoy this. Another thing I wanted to add is that I tried to play this game called Madison, and people were suggesting it to me. Madison was scary, but I was finding myself becoming super frustrated with the game, with the puzzles.
I think the game is the problem, in my opinion. I think Madison is a high quality game with a good story, but I think they dragged the game too long that it lost my interests. I think the game is too long with how things are. So some of the puzzle and things you're doing, it feels kind of like a chore. Personally, I just didn't think Madison was that great.
Specifically, I am a smooth brain rat. It took me like 70 hours to beat Tears of the Kingdom, so you know that 50 or 60 of those hours were spent trying to figure out the puzzles.
It's dragged on. It does feel like it's dragged on.
My fear turned into rage. I was not afraid anymore. I was angry. I was thinking, power to the people who love this game. They're scared while doing puzzles. It's just not my thing. This game's puzzles, I'm a freaking idiot and I could solve them and it wasn't super hard, but it did keep me engaged. If you really pay attention in this game, you can solve the puzzles without looking them up. You probably can do that in Madison, but I'm a bit of an idiot. And I also want to add that this game has insane cloth physics. There's a part where basically, think about like a Scooby-Doo ghost, just basically someone with a sheet over their head flies out of one of the doors. And yes, I was scared in the moment, but the first thing that popped into my head was, holy shit, these cloth physics are insane.
Hello? Wait. Wait. I mean... Hey.
Literally felt like I was watching some really weird, like realistic render. I almost couldn't wrap my head around it. So let's get into the pros and cons of this game. The pros, the graphics are absolutely beautiful.
What
the
a
moment
great,
you walk down the hallway in that
really
first
high
part of the
quality.
game, the lights are shining through the window. It blew my mind. I love the way it looks.
Dude, look at the... Dude, this is actually
also,
insane.
there are
You're
black
right.
bars on the top and the bottom of the screen. I'm pretty sure that's intentional. I don't think that's
I wonder
a visual
which
bug,
engine
but
this
the
is.
narrow FOV and the black bars really add to the claustrophobia of playing this game, and it really added to the atmosphere. Also, I think the scares, though there are little scares in this game, which I'm going to talk about later, the scares that were in here worked effectively. There was one in particular that I will talk about. So there's this part where you go into the basement. And you guys know those things you have set up in some houses. Maybe it's in yours, maybe it's in your friends, but it's like an air conditioner that goes off whenever someone walks by it. It's just like a sensor and it'll kind of shoot it out like a spray. So as I walked down the stairs into the basement, it sprayed in my left ear. And I was like, okay, that freaked me out a little bit, but it was funny. It made me laugh. I was like, that's a funny scare. And that's all I thought. It's just this funny little scare that they added to the game. Like, I love that.
Those subtle small ones? Yeah, for sure. They are the ones that usually get you. And it's like you're getting scared over something so small, so minuscule.
Later in the game, when I'm going down to the basement, I'm at the top of the staircase and the thing sprays because someone is down there next to it. And it blew my mind. I was like, dude, whoever designed that, I don't know how many people worked on this game. Whoever particularly designed that spray, give them a raise because that scared the shit out of me. It made me question going down the stairs for like 30 minutes. There's also this really creepy part where the radio just starts saying, "Help me, help me." And that's when my ears perked. I was so into playing this game at that point.
Oh, hell
so now
no.
With the cons. I
Throw
don't
that thing out of the window.
have a lot of cons for this game because it was a demo and it was very short. And like I said before, I couldn't really find enough content in the game to be mad about. I don't know how this is going to translate well into a full-fledged game. I feel like I might start to get bored towards the end, but that is
Where's that paper, that demon paper?
And one of the main cons I have with the game is the villain. I guess you could call them a villain. It's essentially just a person with a sheet over their head and there is nothing else. I've seen a lot of discussion about it that the fear of it is thinking about what's under that sheet, and that's what makes it so scary.
Hi, Ray. How you doing? Welcome.
I think that is true. But I wish there was a point where we could see who was under the sheet. Or
I think that is for the final game, right?
Point. I 100% assume that in the full game, there's going to be tons of different monsters and scares. But after a while, like I remember I was streaming on Discord and there was a part where the sheet lady climbed up a wall and we just started laughing because it looked really funny. So once you get used to the sheet lady, you start to get used to the scares. But the few scares that are in there in the beginning were super effective and creep me out. I don't want to give away too much because this game is free and I want you guys to go and try it out. But yeah, really suggest playing this demo. Hopefully the developers can release a full game. That'll be awesome and I'll definitely check it out when it comes out. Okay, now let's move on to the next game in this video.
Fatal Frame? Oh, is this a photo game?
After years and years of wanting to play Fatal Frame, I finally got around to playing the first game. I've heard chitter chatter amongst the community that there's a toss-up between the first and the second as to which one is the best and which one is the scariest. The general consensus that I've seen online is that people lean more towards the second one being the scariest, but the first one being the best. Now, I didn't play the second one yet because it took me about 6 hours to beat this one, and this is where the majority of my time was spent this week playing.
I'm gonna be real though, chat.
In Fatal
Chat, I'm gonna be real. I think the old horror games, the first ones, are scarier than the new ones. There's something about these old graphics and the limitation in technology they had back then that made the atmosphere feel scarier. I think that whenever they start developing these things, they are more scary. Because nowadays, if you look at it, you have high quality, you have colorful scenery, and most of the time you see like cheap jump scare and stuff like that. But you don't often get a game that the atmosphere itself puts you off. You know, playing the game makes you feel bad. And I think that many of the old games did that. Like Silent Hill 2, for example, it's a really old game. But it's a game people go back to that want to play horror games repeatedly. Because the game makes you feel like somebody's looking at you all the time. You feel lost. You feel weird. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should play that one day. But yeah, that's like, there's something about the old games that really puts you off just because of the qualities, like the design and also the quality on the graphics.
Frame is the only game in this whole entire list that I felt was so great and so compelling that I had to take notes while I was playing it instead of just giving my thoughts afterwards. I really sat down, I dug into this game, I took my time with it, and I wrote down every single thought that I had while playing it. And I'm gonna read them out to you guys. So I'm gonna give you just the basic story of this game. There's a character named Miku, and she's looking for her brother in a haunted mansion. So essentially, think Luigi's Mansion with cameras and like depression.
So we're looking for Mario
just painted over it. Now that is as bare bones as the story gets because when I get into my pros, this story does go deep. It go hard. That's a horrible combination of work. Now, Fatal Frame has the strongest atmosphere out of all the games that I've played this week, and maybe out of all the games I've played ever. Definitely top 3. The whole entire game is just dark and unrelenting, and it really makes you feel the dread of the world and the characters within it. It never lets up, and it's always depressing all the way through, which caused me to sometimes step away and be like,
take a photo of her.
Just take a breather for a second. Not only that, I had to stop myself from playing the game in the wee hours of the night because I would have some crazy ass nightmares after playing this game.
Wait, what?
It psychologically just grabs a hold of your brain and squeezes the juices out of it. And this whole entire week, I haven't been able to walk around my house with the lights out at nighttime without thinking maybe there's a ghost gonna crawl out from the ceiling or some shit. And I gotta take a picture of it with my iPhone to make it go away.
You know what? I don't think we're gonna play this game, guys. This one seems scary.
It has amazing ghost designs. If you saw on the thumbnail, that's the broken neck lady. When I first encountered her, I was just thinking, this is creepy as hell, but wow, these designs are absolutely amazing and beautiful. When I was playing through the game, I did realize that they were repeating some of the ghosts, but it doesn't become super obvious until you're about 2 or 3 hours in, and that's when you're about to finish the game. I actually see it as a pro because there is a large amount of different ghosts in this game, and I feel like they all have their own different personalities, which goes in with the story. I don't want to give away too much, but as you're playing the game, you start to realize things in the story that, in my opinion, this is really hard to talk about. I want to give you what I think, but I really don't want to spoil this, and I have this at the end of this in the con segment, so I will come back to this. Another thing, the scares never got old for me in this game. Maybe the last 30 minutes I was a little bit over it, but just when I think the game wasn't going to scare me again, it just makes me jump every single time. When you combine these scares with the super immersive atmosphere and its sound design and music, makes them even scarier, dude. You really just have to play this game to feel it. This game has a lot of feel to it. You just need to feel it. How many times can I say that word? But yeah, the sound design is superb. I really mean
all right,
that.
Dude.
It is so
okay.
Creepy, and you do get lost in this mansion, just walking around, looking at every detail. There is so much detail in this game. You can click A on basically anything of interest and it will read out some sort of text at the bottom with what it is, and sometimes even give a little bit of lore to just this little piece of thing that's there. The combat was fun at first, and it literally, just think Resident Evil, like the old Resident Evil with the tank controls, Resident Evil 4, even the earlier Resident Evil games, but you have a camera, and instead of picking up bullets, you're picking up different types of film. It literally is almost exactly Resident Evil combat, except you can actually move around in this game, so maybe I'm gonna eat my own words here. But yeah, just think Resident Evil with the different camera perspectives, the camera shifting, but you have a camera instead of a gun. The game also has this really cool kind of counter thing. Think Sekiro, like right before someone attacks you, you block it and it just counters them, and then you get so much more damage from that. I was abusing that shit throughout the whole entire game. I don't think I've heard about Broken Neck Lady in a stun lock, bro. She could not move. I had her in a Tekken combo. She could not get out of it. You can also upgrade your camera like Resident Evil. I don't want to compare it to Resident Evil because it is its own thing, obviously, but I'm just trying to make a comparison so you see where I'm coming
I think the comparison would be better Silent Hill, wouldn't it? Because of the camera movement, no?
From. You can upgrade like the speed of the camera, the range. You can also add different...
Oh, you're thinking about the weapon. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Abilities to the camera, which was really cool. I was not expecting that sort of depth with this.
Chilla's art is
good.
Good.
Overall, it did surprise me, and I saw a lot of people saying that the combat was the worst part of the game, but I actually found it to be the most enjoyable. I don't know how the other iterations of Fatal Frame, all the different games in the series, change the combat.
But I think I've seen someone play this one.
Enjoyed it. And I'm not sure if this is a positive or a negative. It depends on how you look at it. I'm assuming it's translated English dialogue, the version that I was playing, and it was fucking horrible.
Yeah, but the translation is probably bad. Most of these old Japanese games from early 2000 or whatever sent to the West are usually poorly translated.
I'm gonna be honest, it really added to it. It was the only part of the game that was kind of letting up and making me laugh a little bit between these super dreadful moments, and I loved it. I loved the voice acting in this game. I was enthralled by it. That could be a negative towards you if you're like a poopy head, but I really enjoyed it. Now let's get into the cons of Fatal Frame 1. I will say I am not a huge fan of backtracking. This is a personalized problem because a lot of people actually enjoy backtracking, especially in this game, because it lets you explore the mansion more and really get into its
I don't like backtracking that much.
To me, I'm not a huge...
I feel like backtracking is a design flaw. Like whenever you have to backtrack a lot, I feel like it just wastes your time unnecessarily, and it's like puts you... it basically... I feel like it's dragging the game, and it removes the tension you have from the story and the game as it's going on if you backtrack, because then you're getting into it, you're feeling scared, you're feeling the atmosphere, and then suddenly you have to backtrack and walk for like 5 to 10 minutes frustrated and find something specific in the back, like far away in the back in this, like in the map. Like that puts you off, that takes you out of the feeling of the game.
Fan of backtracking. That's why I'm not a huge fan of what are those types of games called? Roguelike games. I'm not a huge fan of roguelike.
I don't think roguelike games are backtracking though. I don't know. I think I get what you mean, but I don't think this is the same thing.
Games because you are just kind of repeating the same thing over and over. And to some people, that's their shit. But to me, I'm not a huge fan. And the backtracking at one point did get a little bit tedious, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. But like I said before, this could be a positive to you. But to me, it was a negative, but it wasn't a huge negative. And sometimes the camera, when it shifts perspectives, kind of changes your control schemes, like on your left stick if you're moving in a certain direction. And it kind of makes the character have like a jank animation, but you do get used to it at some point. And I do really love games that flip the camera perspective because it is more artistical to me. And I like the way it looks, and I like the way it plays. And they use the camera in such smart ways. They'll shift the perspective, and then they'll hide something in the corner that you can't see, and then it'll shift back to another perspective and jump scare the shit out of you. So that was really fun to witness. I did see a lot of things where people were saying skip the first game because the controls are so dog shit, go straight to the second. But this is a claim that I actually don't agree with. Maybe it's because I grew up with GameCube games, which had the jankiest fucking controls you can think of. But to me, it was literally like in the first 10 minutes, I got it down. And I actually found them to be quite intuitive. There's a button to flip your camera around really fast so you can just take a picture of something that's right behind you. I didn't have a problem with the controls at all in this game. Maybe going into the inventory to load different types of film was kind of annoying, and it's just a sign of the times, but I actually found the controls to feel quite modern. I really didn't have a problem with it, and I'm a huge like controls person. If the controls suck,
what is wrong with my model?
With it. And I did not find a single problem with the controls besides, yeah, maybe switching the film. And those are all the cons that I have. I literally have like one con of this game. I am so happy that I finally got into Fatal Frame. It has always been like a thought of mine to start playing the games. I've always like read things about the games or watched videos or listened to...
I think so too. Like I feel like a lot of old games, just generally, everybody gets put off by thinking, oh, this game is old, it's really old, blah, 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 blah. But like there's a reason why people still talk about these old games, because they are like classics. They're so good that people repeatedly play them now to this day.
People talk about them so passionately, and
maybe we should play Silent Hill one day. Silent Hill, maybe, you know what, chat? Maybe we should play Silent Hill 2 one day, because there's a Silent Hill 2 remake coming out in October. Maybe we should play this and play the remake. And also maybe we'll play Outlast or something. I haven't played Outlast, and that game is old as well, but it's not that old.
I'm excited to go into the further games. I already have the second one downloaded, and I'm definitely going to play the third if I enjoy the second. So yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on that. But yeah, that's it. The game is amazing, scary, it's thought-provoking, it's depressing, it's ominous. There's so many words, but you just need to experience it yourself. Get your own experience, and I don't want to be that guy, but you can emulate it. I definitely played a legal copy on the PS2. I definitely did not emulate it. Don't look up how much these games are on eBay.
Yeah, definitely. I bet you bought this one, and you bought a PS2 as well.
That's not important to the story. So yeah, overall, Fatal Frame is probably my favorite game on this list. I give it 2 thumbs up. And I'm gonna go play the second. So if this video doesn't come out,
if they're not selling the product still, if they're not selling it, if it's not out there, if you can't buy it on PlayStation 5, you're free to emulate it. I'm gonna be real. I think you're free to emulate it. It's their job to sell it. If they don't want to sell these old games anymore, or let people emulate it on the new consoles, that's up to them.
For the next, I don't know, couple weeks, that is why. Now let's move on to the final segment in this video.
The last one. Please don't be Outlasts. VR horror game. I hate VR. That I don't want to VR horror. This
So
make me
this final
sick.
segment is kind of clumping a bunch of things together, and it's just VR horror games. All of them. There isn't a VR horror game that I played that wasn't scary. When I first got my VR headset, I played this game called Propagation
I've
VR.
never heard
Is that
about
what it's
this
called?
one.
And I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, I almost couldn't handle it. I'm gonna be 100%. It's so weird just having that depth in your eyes and you're controlling everything. It really feels like you're there. You ever see those videos of the people jumping into the TVs and shit? That's what I felt.
He did?
But there is one game in particular.
What the fuck? Dude, God just jumped. Man. Man. Oh, man.
But there is one game in particular that really messed me up, and I know you guys are just gonna shit on me in the comments. But it's the Five Nights at Freddy's VR
Oh, God.
game. Five Nights at Freddy's VR is fucking horrifying, dude. I guarantee you strap a 12-year-old to a VR headset and make them play Five Nights at Freddy's VR, they're gonna take that thing off with a chest full of hair and a long ass beard. This game ages you. This game puts you through puberty like way prematurely. I just wanted to say this because a lot of people in my comments were like, dude's not even talking about VR games. It's because they're all scary, and I honestly probably will make a VR horror games video. I'm not sure though. It seems like we're going into the realm where VR is kind of becoming a little bit niche when it comes to games.
VR is a massive niche. There's barely anybody that want to get into VR because it requires you to move, and it also costs a lot of money to get into VR. I have a VR headset. I have two VR headsets, but it's just about the way it plays. Also, it's very demanding for a lot of people. Like for me, I developed like migraines by using VR for too long. So personally, like I don't use VR that much, and there are a lot of people that just can't have the VR headset on their face for a while because it just makes them either dizzy or they feel bad around it. So VR is just a big niche in itself.
It's like that point in the middle where VR games were going crazy and everything was a VR game. But now it seems like people just don't give a shit about it, which is upsetting.
It costs too much money
to take the next leap. We need to stop making these Quest 1, Quest 2s. I feel like something needs to come out, not the Apple Vision headset. Fuck that shit. Something that is just so undeniably realistic looking, where you can't see any pixels, there's no screen door effect, and it also needs to be consumer friendly. I'm not trying to pay
something that is easy on the eye. That's what they need. They need something that is easy on the eye and is more immersive than a display screen. That's it.
$100 for a VR headset so I can play ping pong all day. I definitely did not have a VR ping pong addiction. But yeah, that was the final segment in this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I'll see you in the next one. I just really quickly want to thank you guys for the support on the most recent video. I feel like I say this every single time, but really guys, thank you so much. Without you guys, this dream would still be a dream. And I'm just having the time of my life making these videos, especially this one. This one was the most fun to make. I feel like I put a lot of myself into this, put a lot of personality. I definitely put a lot of time editing into this. So if you enjoyed, a like and a comment helps me tremendously. So I just wanted to ask you guys, if I did start doing brand deals in my videos, I was just curious as to what you guys would think. I was having some discussions with this.
Sell anything you have, as long as it is not gambling. In my opinion, that's what you should do. You should sell anything. If you can get a sponsor, take the sponsor. Do whatever the hell. Who cares? You're getting the bag. Like, that's what our audience should think about. You're getting the bag. If they don't care about the product advertised, they can just skip it. Let's go for it. W Zeark, yeah, W Zeark.
They were saying things that I was.
It was there today.
Kind of true. I don't want to. I did. That's so cool. That's still so cool. Because I know my intros are just short, straight to the point, which is the most important thing to me.
Good intros.
Yeah, I just want to know your overall opinion on what you think about that. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great
fucking video.
I would love to see you in the next one. Goodbye, my friends. Doot doodaloot doot.
Wow.
Okay, you have to say it. Doot doodaloot doot. If you don't, that's an Nardwar reference. Okay, I'm out of here. Bye.
Okay, anyways, that was a good video. Let me like it, dude. That was a huge video. That was pretty fun. I think we got some recommendations there. Then I think we got 2 game recommendations we can test out. That seems pretty fun. This is pretty fun. Zeark, if you're watching this, man, huge W, massive video. I loved it. Make sure y'all check out Zeark. If you're looking at this on YouTube, his video is in my description. Check it out. Go sub to him. He makes a lot of cool videos. We're definitely going to react more to his stuff. I think these are fun. I think it was good. was a good way for us to end our horror night or a horror stream today, looking at this and getting more recommendation for the next one. If you're looking at this on YouTube, make sure you like this video and sub to the channel. I'd highly appreciate that. I would love to see more of you, and I'd love if you could push this video more to more audiences by liking it. Also, if you want to join chat over there and yap with us and chat with us and join our fun, you're free to come by twitch.tv/Adley to hang out. We'd love to see you there. Other than that, hope you all have an amazing day and enjoy. Peace.